Unit 2, page 13. Read. Exercise 2. Read and listen to the text.
Where do words come from? How do new words enter a language? Who coins new words? Sometimes the inspiration for a word is obvious. For example, in the 1960s, calculator made its first appearance in everyday English. Its name was based on its apparent function, to calculate. Sometimes a word or name is eponymous. This means that it takes its name from the person who discovered or invented the object. The radioactive element, Einsteinium, is an example of an eponymous word, taking its name from the famous scientist Albert Einstein. Other words are toponymous. They take their name from the place where they were invented or made famous. An example of a toponymous word is tangerine, which comes from the city of Tangiers in Morocco, where the fruit is abundant. Another example is the word for the material denim, which originated in Nîmes, France. The material was said to be de Nîmes, or from Nîmes. Sometimes people simply invent words. Milton Sirota is documented as the youngest person ever to coin a word that is in use today. He coined the words Google and Googleplex when he was 9 years old. Sirota's uncle was a mathematician called Edward Kasner. Kasner wanted to find a name for an extremely large finite number, the number 1 followed by 100 zeros. One day, in the late 1930s, Kasner asked his nephew for some ideas about a name. Sirota thought about it for a moment and then suggested Google. Kasner was delighted. He had finally found a name he liked. Sirota also suggested the term Googleplex for the number 1 followed by zeros until a person got tired of writing them. Kasner appreciated the boy's ingenuity but pointed out that no two people would tire at precisely the same moment. As a result, Kasner defined the Googleplex as the number 1 followed by a Google of zeros. This made Googleplex a finite number, although it was unimaginably large. The terms Google and Googleplex first featured in Kasner's 1940 publication Mathematics and the Imagination. It's highly unlikely that Sirota or Kasner ever imagined what would happen to the words they coined so many decades ago. What is more intriguing about Sirota and Kasner's story is that their creations are, in a way, now known by millions, if not billions, of people around the world. In 1996, 2 computer science graduate students at a California university created a new search engine. After working for more than a year to perfect it, the students and several of their fellow office workers had a number of brainstorming sessions to find the right name for this innovative tool. They wanted a name related to the indexing of a colossal amount of data, so someone suggested Google. One of the students liked the idea and asked his friend to check if the name was available for a web address. According to the story, although the students were brilliant computer scientists, they were bad at spelling. And instead of searching for GOOGOL.com, they searched for GOOGLE.com. They found that this web address was available. They realized their error, but they preferred the unconventional spelling. So they registered the web address www.google.com. Unfortunately, neither Kasner nor Sirota lived to see the Internet age. Kasner died in 1955, and Sirota passed away in 1980. Neither of them found out how the word they had coined inspired the name of the most popular search engine in the world.
Unit 2, page 15. Explore. Exercise 1. Read and listen to the dialogues. 1. At the local cafe.
Hi, Nancy. What can I get for you?
Can I have an orange juice, please?
Sure. Are you having anything to eat with that?
Have you got any snacks?
You name it. Do you want something sweet?
No, I fancy something savoury.
We've got crisps.
Sounds good.
What flavour do you fancy?
2. At the hotel.
Good morning, sir. Welcome to the Grand Hotel. Did you have a reservation?
Yes, the name is Wilson. I made a reservation for 3 nights, but I was hoping to change it. I was thinking of extending my stay.
Let me have a look for you. How many days were you thinking about staying, Mr. Wilson?
I wondered about staying an extra 2 nights.
Certainly, sir. You have reserved a double room, haven't you?
Yes, but I was wondering if the executive suite is available.
Yes, of course. No problem at all.
Unit 2, page 16. Listen. Exercises 2 and 3. Listen to the interview.
Welcome to Radio Review, the weekly programme that provides today's young people with information about career opportunities. Today, we are speaking to Meryl Jones, who gives creative writing courses all over the UK. Welcome, Meryl.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
So, could you tell us a bit about what you do?
I run creative writing workshops for many different types of people, young and old, male and female. Some wish to pursue a career in writing, either as an author or a journalist, and others simply enjoy it as a hobby. I give them assignments, and after I've read them, I give them feedback, suggest ways to improve their writing.
That's very interesting. But do you find that you can really appreciate or enjoy the material that you're looking at?
Well, some of the material is very interesting. People write about so many different subjects and personal experiences. The first thing I do is read it for meaning, checking that the reader understands the text. If the writer uses a lot of acronyms, the reader may be lost. For instance, most readers know that UN stands for the United Nations, but not all of them may know that the OAU was the Organisation of African Unity, for example. So that needs to be explained.
Yes, that's very true. I wouldn't have known that acronym.
If the reader doesn't understand much in the text, he or she won't enjoy it. I work closely with my students during the writing process, guiding them and helping them to avoid bad writing techniques.
Such as?
Such as clichés. For example, if somebody has written a sentence containing a simile, which has been used so frequently it's now a cliché, I may suggest that they rephrase it.
So, the author may use the cliché as green as grass, but you'll help them to change it.
Exactly. When we're describing something green, the cliché as green as grass is used far too often. There are many more interesting ways to describe something that is green, so I may suggest a more original simile, such as green as a palm tree after a cool summer rain. I believe this is more effective in creating the desired image for the reader.
I agree.
I try to make sure the text is memorable and captures the reader's curiosity and interest. Let me give you another example. The ship sailed silently on the sea.
Alliteration.
Precisely. The first sound of each word is the same, in this case, S, and it suits some styles of writing, such as poetry and descriptive passages.
Well, thank you, Meryl, for sharing your insight and experience with us. It's been most enjoyable.
Unit 2, page 17. Explore. Exercise 1. Read and listen to the dialogue.
Professor Smith, could you possibly tell me what this emoticon means?
Yes, of course. It's supposed to look like the US President, Abraham Lincoln.
Ah, I've heard of him, but I've never seen him. Might you be able to explain how this looks like him?
Certainly. He was known for his long beard and tall hat, but I would think that you have seen him. He's on the US $5 bill.
Oh, yes. The equal sign is a hat. But Lincoln isn't wearing a hat on the bill. Emoticons are very clever.
Yes, they are. Might you be interested in learning the history of emoticons? They were actually first used to communicate amongst professors at an American university.
Oh, I didn't know that. It's difficult to imagine a time when emoticons weren't popular.
Pardon me, but we would ask that you keep talking to a minimum in the library. Might you continue your discussion elsewhere?
So sorry. Yes, of course.
Unit 2, page 19. Language Skills, Exercise 1. Listen and check.
My guest today is 16-year-old Darren Black from East London, the computer genius who created the highly innovative computer program PSC. Would you be able to tell us more about it, Darren?
Yes, it's a program to eliminate any malware from your computer. PSC is an acronym that stands for Premium System Clearing.
And could you possibly tell us why the program is so successful?
Well, it's the only piece of software that acts instantly as soon as a threat enters your computer system. There's no need to scan as the program takes care of everything.
That's absolutely amazing. And what do your friends at school think about you being the whiz kid of the decade?
Oh, I think that's a bit of a cliché. There are lots of kids my age who have the ingenuity to create complex programs.
I understand that you're working on a new social networking site just for teenagers. We were hoping you could tell us something about it.
It's still in development, but I can tell you that the text writing function will have a menu with a lot of colourful new emoticons.
Finally, would you mind telling us where you get the inspiration for these ingenious projects?
I just love technology. I wanted to come up with an invention to change everything.
Judging from your success to date, I would say that you will. Thank you for speaking to us.
Everyday English 2, Teacher's Book, page 104. Using polite language. Exercise 1. Read and listen to the dialogue.
Good evening, sir. How can I help you?
I have a reservation. The name's Henrik.
Just bear with me 1 minute, Mr. Henrik. Yes, that was a twin room with executive breakfast and use of the health spa.
That's right. And I was wondering if it would be possible to book a meeting room for tomorrow?
Certainly, sir. How many people will be attending? We have a large conference room or a choice of several smaller seminar rooms.
I'm expecting 12 people to attend, and we will need the room all day.
In that case, I would recommend the Washington room, which also has a lounge area where tea and coffee are served.
That sounds perfect. And could you tell me what presentation facilities are provided?
All the rooms are equipped with a laptop, data projector and a flip chart, and Wi-Fi is available throughout the hotel. Would there be anything else that you needed?
Not at the moment, but might I have a look at the room this evening to check?
Certainly. I'll arrange for someone to take you there when you have checked into your room. Did you want to include lunch with the seminar room booking?
Possibly. Would you mind showing me a price plan with and without lunch?
Certainly, sir.
Everyday English 2, Teacher's Book, page 104. Using polite language. Exercises 4 and 5. Listen to the 3 dialogues. Dialogue 1.
Did you need any help there?
Yes, I was wondering if you had these boots in size 8.
We do. Did you want to try them on?
Yes, please. Could you get me a pair in black?
Certainly, madam.
Dialogue 2.
Excuse me, how many books can you take out at one time?
You can take out up to 4 books for 3 weeks at a time. Do you have a valid library card?
No, I don't.
Well, you would have to join the library and get a card.
I see. How would I do that?
It's quite straightforward. If you could complete this registration form, we can issue you with a card straight away. Then you'd be able to take out books today.
Dialogue 3.
Hello, I was hoping to get to Edinburgh this afternoon. Would that be possible?
Let me just take a look for you, madam. Yes, there are some seats available on the 1654 train. Did you want to book a first-class ticket for an additional £20?
No, thanks. I'd prefer a regular ticket, please.
And would that be a single or a return ticket?
A return, please.
Literature Corner 1. Page 20. Exercise 1. Read and listen.
Leisure by William Henry Davis. What is this life if, full of care, we have no time to stand and stare? No time to stand beneath the boughs and stare as long as sheep and cows? No time to see when woods we pass where squirrels hide their nuts in grass? No time to see in broad daylight streams full of stars like skies at night? No time to turn at beauty's glance and watch her feet, how they can dance? No time to wait till her mouth can enrich that smile her eyes began? A poor life this, if full of care, we have no time to stand and stare.
Skills Roundup 1 to 2. Page 21. Listen. Exercises 2 and 3. Listen to the interview.
Most people living in Scotland speak English. However, Scotland has its own language, Gaelic, and there was a time when Gaelic was widely spoken before English took over. Today, it's regarded as a minority language. In today's programme, we're going to discuss Scottish Gaelic, and in the studio we've got Professor Hamish Murray. Professor Murray, is Scottish Gaelic a Celtic language?
Yes, it is a Celtic language, and like modern Irish, it developed from a more ancient version of Irish. It was probably introduced to Scotland in the 4th century by Irish settlers and had its highest number of speakers during the Middle Ages. In other words, until the end of the 15th century. After that, the number of Scottish Gaelic speakers started to decline.
And how many people speak it today?
According to the last UK census, just over 1% of the Scottish population, so approximately 58,000 speakers.
That doesn't sound like a lot. Where is it spoken?
In some parts of the Scottish Highlands, but mostly in the Hebrides, the islands off the west coast of Scotland, and in particular in a group of islands called the Outer Hebrides.
Given that Scotland has its own government, is there a movement to protect and to increase the number of people speaking Scottish Gaelic?
As the Scottish have been working on promoting their Scottish identity, preserving the Gaelic language has certainly become important. I don't think any politician believes that Gaelic could become the universal language of Scotland, but you won't find any political party that doesn't want to keep the language alive.
How can Gaelic be kept alive? There's been a constant decline in the number of speakers, hasn't there?
Well, there have been a number of important political acts that have helped the Scottish Gaelic cause. The Scottish Gaelic Language Act 2005 was the first piece of legislation from the Scottish Parliament to really promote and protect Gaelic. The legislation gave official recognition to the language and established an official language development body. The European Union has also had an important role. Under the European Charter for Regional or Minority Languages, member state governments are obliged to take measures in education, public administration, broadcasting and culture. Another milestone was the fact that in 2009 the EU recognised Scottish Gaelic as a language of official communication between Scottish Government ministers and EU officials.
So, what can we see happening in day-to-day life to protect and increase the use of Scottish Gaelic in Scotland?
Well, for example, we can see changes in the media. The BBC and various commercial TV stations now broadcast in Scottish Gaelic. The Scottish Qualification Authority offers Gaelic courses for native speaker students and non-native learners. And on a small scale, there's also a growing interest in bilingual education in nurseries, but unfortunately there's still a big shortage of Gaelic-speaking teachers.